I am deeply and gently realizing what has kept me from feeling seen and loved. And at first I thought that it was my expectations that got in the way of feeling loved, or perhaps I kept on thinking that people just didn't understand me, or that people didn't care much to love me, but all those things weren't the reason for my suffering. I've had to really sit and contemplate about why this pattern of feeling disconnected and unloved kept on showing up in my life. Until recently, I began to experience deep shame and guilt over things that I've experienced, over mistakes that I've made, and it was then that I opened up a door deep within me that gave me the answers as to why I felt misunderstood, alone, and unloved. I was hiding behind perfection, and this only kept me closed off to love. It kept me hiding the parts of myself I thought weren't worthy of being loved. And how could people truly love you if they don't know all of you? I had only allowed people to love the version of myself that was perfectly curated for them. The one they can agree with, the one they can accept, the one with no wrongdoings and mistakes, the one that's put together, the one that doesn't embrace the totality of being a human being. One that's messy, confused, and that sometimes falls into behaviors that I'm not really proud of. It's exhausting carrying the weight of perfection on our backs. It's exhausting shoving our shame, guilt, embarrassment, insecurities deep down our being and making sure it doesn't spill out for others to see. It's exhausting believing that who we are isn't deserving of being loved and seen. So this video is for the ones that are tired of hiding, and the ones with the courage to truly be themselves, even if those around you don't want to approve, like, or understand this need to live in honesty with yourself. To live authentically and let our vulnerability be the foundation for our relationships and interactions with other beings. Hi guys, welcome to the space. Welcome to another video. I know that it's been quite some time since the last time that I uploaded. It's been feeling way too long, but you know, life has been lifing, and it's okay for me to take my time and to give myself grace and just patience through all the changes that have been unfolding for me in this phase of my life right now. I hope that life has been treating you well, and I hope that you've been gentle with yourself as well. I don't know about you guys, but during summer I just make the most plans. I'm the busiest. I'm always on the go doing the most, and I know that there's times where I have to remind myself that I have to take things slow and that I really need to pause more and just kind of let life unfold on its own, and for me to just kind of follow that flow, you know. So I'm just here to remind you to be gentle with yourself and to just be patient and to slow down, even if it is just 4 or 5 minutes of your day. In this video, I actually wanted to have this conversation with you guys about perfectionism and also just this lack of connection that we have with other human beings, and also what I've observed in my life that might be the root cause of that disconnection, of that suffering or pain, you know, because in my life, in my personal experience, it has been something that I've had to deal with. I had a lot of interactions and relationships that reflected back to me this lack of connection, this feeling of being misunderstood, this feeling of not being heard, of not being seen, of not really feeling loved and appreciated. And so, you know, we are taking accountability and responsibility for our own healing, our own experience, and this is where the work is at. You know, it's not blaming another human being, another person for what unfolded, but instead looking at that experience and seeing, like, what is life trying to teach me through this experience? Is there a pattern here? Has this been something that has happened not just with this person, but maybe with other people as well? And just like observing, not really judging that experience, judging that person, or even judging yourself for that. To give yourself grace and compassion and love through that, and to see the lesson in that, so that we're not out there repeating the same mistakes and maybe attracting the same type of interactions and connections. So yeah, I'm just sharing this because I feel called to share this in hopes that it might resonate with you, in hopes that you might learn something through my own experience, through me sharing and expressing my experience. So I kind of want to share with you guys a little bit of my own process through this realization that I had about 2 months ago. I started to notice this pattern in my romantic relationships where I kept on feeling like just not loved or understood and seen and stuff, and I went really deep and I realized that there was a lot of shame and guilt around certain experiences that I've had, around certain parts, like aspects of myself that I tend to hide from people. And once I started to realize that, I was like, okay, so who have I been in my interactions, in my relationships? And of course, I've grown a lot, and I've tried to learn how to like embody this authentic being, but I realized that there is a part of me that also just always wanted to be perfect, and that had this tendency to like just people please and like curate myself into a being that I thought other people would like, that other people would accept and love and understand. And oftentimes those versions of me that I shared with people didn't really come with the whole package. It didn't come with the things that I was ashamed of, the mistakes that I've made. It didn't come with the guilt that I felt, the embarrassment that I also carry, the insecurities that I have. And so then through that, I just realized like, oh my goodness, if there's aspects of myself that I hide, then how would I ever really feel seen or understood if I don't show entirely who I am? If in my interactions I lack that vulnerability and authenticity of really embodying and embracing the fullness that I am, and accepting that there's parts of me that I'm ashamed of, that I might, feel guilty about, that there's mistakes that I've made in the past that I don't want to accept, but that I have to accept and that I have to like admit, so that I'm able to just kind of like just lay it out on the table and be like, hey, this is who I am. This is, this is what I come with. Accept it or leave it. It is okay. I guess through that process, I just really started to feel this need to stop that, to stop putting on masks for people to accept me and to love me, for people to see me in this light of perfection. I started to realize that it's actually very exhausting to keep on these masks and keep on playing these roles in people's lives, that I don't want that to be the basis and like the foundation for my connections. That if I want my connections to feel genuine and to feel real and authentic and true and fulfilling, that it starts with me being honest with myself. It starts with me embracing and accepting the parts of myself that are sometimes hard to accept, and sitting with another human being and accepting them for those things as well, for not judging, for not trying to make them what we want them to be, but to simply see them as another human being, and just like really sitting with the magic, the light that they are, the love that they are. I just felt like the more that I started to sit with this realization and this information, I started to just really notice the ways in which I do show up in people's lives. Sometimes the ways in which I self-abandon myself just to be digestible, just to be something that people like and agree with. And I'm like, I think I'm just entering that phase in my life where I'm just like, nope, we are not making ourselves small. We are not making ourselves perfect. We are not doing this because we are losing ourselves in that experience. I'm not doing that anymore because I respect who I am, because I value who I am, because I really do love who I am. And in doing that, I open up the doors for people to come in and to really see me and connect with me. And that might be like the bridge to genuine and real connection with other human beings. That might be the way in which I not just understand myself, see myself, hear myself, validate myself, recognize myself, but also attract relationships that reflect that back to me. So I had to move because the sun was hitting me really intensely into my eyes. But anyway, to keep this conversation going, I just felt like it was time for me to really be honest with myself, to really go really deep into my shadows, into my darkness, to bring all those things that I've been hiding, that I've been embarrassed, that I've been ashamed of feeling, experiencing, of thinking about, and just be like, hey, like, I accept this. I accept that I'm not a perfect being. I accept that not everybody's going to love me and accept me and like me. I accept that I have experiences that I haven't been so proud of, but that experience itself has made me who I am, and I have learned so much from that experience. I accept these things and I have nothing to hide. I don't want to hide anything anymore. I want to be as clear as it could be. I want this authenticity. This need to be authentic. This need to be true. This need to be real, to be the foundation for my connections. It's like I want them to be from a place of truth and honesty. And yeah, it's so exhausting to not be who you are just because you're afraid. There could be so many reasons for why we do this, and I notice that this is, like, it's not just me. Like, I notice that we do this as human beings, and it's not something to judge, it's not something to hate about ourselves. It's just like, hey, like, we are meant to be social beings. We want to be part of a tribe, and unfortunately we learn to create these versions of ourselves just to be able to fit in, just to be able to feel accepted and validated and seen and loved. But I think that the time has come now where we're all realizing, like, wait, that's not the way. We don't have to do that. I can be myself. I can be loved for being who I am. I can be accepted for being who I am. I can be compassionate for being who I am. And yes, it starts with us giving ourselves that self-love, that self-acceptance, self-recognition, self-compassion, and patience. So yeah, it's courageous to be who you are. It's courageous to not want to make yourself small anymore. And I just hope that this inspires you to be more of who you are. I want this space to be a place where we all get to show up and be ourselves, to be real, to be genuine, to be authentic, to be true to who we are. And I think that that's also one of the reasons as to why I struggled a little bit uploading my next video. I've been struggling showing up in these type of spaces because I feel like social media hasn't gotten to this point yet where we really get to be ourselves. If anything, I feel like social media almost forces us to, like, put on these masks and to, like, pretend that everything's okay and that we're perfect and that we have life figured out and that, we have the right answers to everything. And, like, we mostly have the tendency to share, like, our wins and, like, our success and our happy memories and our happy moments and all these things. And so it has felt very hard for me to share in these type of spaces and platforms, just because I don't want to continue that pattern of, like, I don't know, curating myself for people to view me in a certain way. I don't want that. I want to create a space where we really do get to show up as we are and just be like, hey, like, this is who I am, and accept me or not, it's cool. Love me or not, it is cool. But I will love you and I will accept you because I love and accept myself. I want to be able to hold the people in my life and to see them for who they are, to love them for who they are, to just, like, witness their light, to witness their realness. I want to do that with every person that I encounter. I think that it's needed in this world to be courageous and brave enough to just, like, love that way and to love ourselves that way and to show up for ourselves in that way. I think that's all I wanted to share in this video. Is just, like, dare to be yourself, give yourself permission to shine your light very, very brightly, and to forgive yourself for all the things that you are ashamed of, for all the things that you do feel guilty about, for all the things that you're embarrassed, for all of your insecurities. Forgive yourself for all of those things, and also, like, embody those things and be like, you know what, yeah, like, I'm a human being that's messy, that's conflicted, that's wild, that's chaotic, and it is okay for me to be that way, because human beings are not perfect. Human beings are not always harmonious and always just, like, peaceful and love and lights. Like, no, we are wild beings. came here to experience a very complex spectrum of emotions and experiences, and to embody, to grow through these things. And we're limiting our experience when we deny certain aspects of ourselves, when we don't want to even look at these things, you know, and to accept them for what they are, and to take them in with our hearts open, and to just be like, wow, I'm a human being. Wow, look at all these things. Look at all these things that I feel, that I've experienced. And the fact that I can resonate with another human being, the fact that there's so much more similarities than there is differences with another human being. Can I let these similarities be the bridge, be the foundation for our connection? Can I free myself from these judgments that I've perceived, that I've put onto myself? Can I openly, courageously, and wildly allow myself to be free, and to really be seen, and to really be loved and validated and recognized? And not for being perfect, and not for being agreeable, likable, and not for having things figured out, and not for always making the right choice and decision, but simply because I am a human being. Simply because I exist, because I accept my wholeness, my complexity, I accept it. Yes, the sun is shining very brightly, keeps on moving fast, and I already moved like 3 times, so I'm not gonna move anymore. I'm just gonna accept it. I guess I'm supposed to be letting this light into my being today. But anyway, thank you so much for listening. I hope that this helped you in some way or another. I hope that this reflected back to you maybe some truth that resonates with you in your being, and I hope that this inspires you to be true to yourself. I'm happy to be here with you, and I'm so proud of you. And you deserve to be loved, you deserve to be seen, you deserve to be recognized, to be cared for, to be heard. But just know that it really does start with you recognizing yourself, and you loving yourself, and you seeing yourself. Much love. Thank you again for being here. I appreciate you, and I'm excited to be sharing more of myself on here. Mwah. Love you.